Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's me, Jake. Welcome back to the show. I'm so glad you could make it. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to make it lately, but I'm here now, and I just wanted to talk about giant penguins. I know the news is full of a lot of other stuff, but I would like to talk about giant penguins. So relax. Who's got an opinion on them? I'll tell you something. Okay, so here's the deal. I saw this in the news a week or two ago. They've discovered fossilized remains of giant penguins, a new species of previously unknown giant penguins. They discovered them in New Zealand, which is where my wife is from. And I don't think my wife had anything to do with the extinction of these giant penguins because, in fact, they were from tens of millions of years ago, and my wife is not that old, and so. In fact, I don't think human beings had anything to do with the extinction of these giant penguins, which is refreshing, right? These polar bears, were giving them a hard time. Tigers, also not getting a good deal from us. Although, let's face it, if the polar bears and tigers were in charge right now, and we were endangered, it would be over. It'd be game over. So I'm just saying, just from that point of view, I love polar bears and tigers and giant penguins too. Although I think I'm glad that these giant penguins, where they say giant penguins, they're like there's not as big as a house. That would be exciting to me. The giant penguin, the fossilized remains of the giant penguins, they estimate that these penguins be about 5'8" or ish, and 180 pounds, maybe 200 pounds. So that's a big penguin. I mean, don't get me wrong. You would not want to be in a tussle with a penguin like that. If you saw a penguin like that, my advice would be to run away. This is a mistake that a lot of people make when they see a wild animal. They'll try and engage with it. Even squirrels. You see a squirrel in your yard? You think you can just go up to that thing or hassle it? Listen, I've had squirrels turn on me in the yard. I'm coming at them to try and chase them away, and then they're like, "Yeah, what?" When a squirrel what's you like that, you realize, but that thing could just run up to me and bite me. I mean, I would probably ultimately win. I think I could kill the squirrel, but he could inflict some damage, more damage than I want to take in a casual encounter with a squirrel in my yard. So let's get back to these giant penguins anyway. They were discovered by an amateur paleontologist named Lee Love. Lee Love, that's his name. And I didn't even know there was such a thing as an amateur paleontologist. I mean, I think that's just a guy with a shovel. But look, he's given these professional paleontologists a run for their money. They couldn't find the giant penguin. Lee Love found the giant penguin. And let's face it, it's a lot easier to find a giant penguin than it is to find a little tiny microscopic penguin. I mean, who's out there looking for the microscopic penguins? I guess we're leaving that to the professional paleontologists. But hats off to Lee Love for discovering this giant penguin. And if you see please give the penguins a break. They don't want to get hassled by you. But any bird, even a tiny bird, we had a tiny injured bird in our yard. And I tried to pick it up to do it a favor, to put it in a box so a cat wouldn't get it, just so it could recover from whatever trauma had happened when it fell. It bit me hard. They can hurt you. So imagine a giant penguin with a beak like that. It could bite you hard. It could take one of your hands off easy. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not even a amateur ornithologist, but I can tell you this: if you see a giant bird, steer clear of it. Stay away. Get back in your car. If you see a giant bird, get back in your car. That's my advice. Don't go up to an ostrich and try and ride it. I mean, that's a giant bird. They're famous for being sort of shy, but I think they could kick you. They're strong and they can run fast. You think you're chasing the ostrich, and then the ostrich turns around and chases you. Well, that could happen with these giant penguins. If they were around now, but they're extinct, and I suppose we're sad because we're not getting to see them. We're so look. I don't want to make any animals extinct now that we have, but it happens. We might be the next ones to be extinct. There may be little tiny human beings in the future. All human beings might be microscopic. That may be how we solve climate change and the population crisis, is by evolving ourselves tinier and tinier until someday these little tiny human beings, they're like a half a foot tall, will discover fossilized remains of us and go, boy, there used to be these giant people walking around. I bet that was scary. And they may not be as good at science as we are, or maybe we're not as good at science as we should be. They might think that we giant humans were walking the earth at the same time as the giant penguins. And well, first of all, hats off to these tiny microscopic humans for even still being into paleontology and discovering us. And hats off for you to listening to the show. I'm not sure, the problem with this episode is I don't really have a good ending, except to say there used to be giant penguins on Earth. It's kind of, imagine it. So someday there may be giant penguins again, or there may be giant some other thing that we think is cool. Not some terrible, like giant cockroaches, of course. We've been imagining those for a while. They'd be terrible. But giant something nice, like what? Bunnies. Really big bunnies hopping around, just eating giant carrots in the future. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you there. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.